Okay. We are live with Kennett Peterson in Kennett's garage, we might be able to tell. Kennett is a pro triathlete in Boulder, Colorado. And he recently did a real badass thing where you did a duathlon, a virtual duathlon essentially, with yourself, where you rode from your house right here to the base of Longs Peak, ran up to the top of Longs Peak, back to your bike, and back to here. Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
Why? What the hell? Why did you do that?
I had the idea. I mean, it wasn't my idea. Many people have done this before, like probably thousands. But I heard about this event or race, if you will, maybe like 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. I always thought it would be kind of fun to do, like a really cool challenge. I'd never done Longs Peak before, but I knew that it was you could do it without a rope or anything, so you could keep your load light. But I just never really had the opportunity to do it because training and normal race season was always a priority, and you really only have a couple months in the summer to give this a shot, like July and August when the snow is gone. And then the route that I took, the cables route, ices over really easily. It's kind of in this crack, and it doesn't get a lot of sunlight for this little 2-foot wide section. And the couple times I tried it before I did the FKT, it was too icy, so I just kind of got lucky, I guess, that the day that I finally chose to do the FKT attempt, it was clear of ice, and
what does
then
FKT
snowed the
stand
next
for?
day. Fastest known time.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
And
FKT. Okay.
The previous fastest known time was 6:55, set by Tony, and I can't say his last name because I'm gonna mess it up too much, but or Anton, Capricha, I think, something like that.
But not everybody starts. Where does it start? Where's the official start on your bike? You rode
the
from
official
here, right?
start time at the start line used to be the bus stop, the strip joint, but since that's gone now, what's used, I guess, is the Boulder city limit sign, which is basically right there at the same spot.
Okay.
So I kind of like timed the green light. I did like five runs trying to time the green light, so I got it at but like a fast starting time to get through that light on 36. Had to flip around a bunch of times because I kept getting it red, but yeah, it starts and stops there, and then you climb up on St. Vrain, which is probably the fastest direction, and it goes to the Longs Peak trailhead right before you drop into Estes Park, and it's like a 4.5 mile hike, climb, scramble to the top. You kind of like cut through this goat trail, climber trail, so you're not on the normal path that most people hike and walk and stuff. So it's a faster route than many people do. So
Yeah, because I think most people are used to that 20-mile really long hike. When I first heard about this, I thought, wait a minute, you did 20 miles in 2 hours. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, that would be impossible.
Yeah. But you ran really fast coming down, right? After you got through the boulders?
Sort of fast. I don't know. For me, it was fast. It was like on the limit of what was safe for me. I came close to falling a couple times. I never actually fell, which means I probably could have pushed it a bit more. But my shoes, the bottoms of my shoes are starting to come off, and my legs are just pretty trashed. And at that point, I already knew that I was going to get the FKT, unless I had a flat tire or something on the ride back. So I ran really fast for me. But the guy who has the FKT for Longs Peak, just the run portion, which is extremely fast, Kyle Richardson did it in 1:55 total, and he had a descent time of 37 minutes. Wow. And I did it in like an hour and 15 or something like that. So
how many feet did you climb on your run?
Let's see, the Longs Peak trailhead starts at 10,400, and
it's about 4,000, not quite 4,000.
Yeah.
Feet.
Well, 4,000, because Longs Peak is 14.4.
Is it? Okay.
So it's like exactly 4,000.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah,
give or take a few
right.
feet.
Huh. Wow. And it's a lot of boulders, though. It's not like you've got to scramble quite a bit here and there, right?
Yeah, there's The bottom section is a lot of power hiking and running, and then once you get above tree line, the route I took cuts through, up and over these steep boulders. You're kind of like finding your way through the talus, and then it flattens out a bit because I don't know how many people are familiar with the terrain there, but you kind of like hug Mount Lady Washington, the side of it, and then as you make your way through the boulder field, so you don't stay on the trail near the boulder field. So you're just kind of talus hopping. And then you get to the cables route, and that's I think there's like 2 pitches. It's really just 1 pitch, but I think it's classified as 2 pitches of like 5.3 or 5.4. And that's the kind of scrambling section. Some people rope up. For the FKT, obviously you can't do that. You can't rope up because that wastes too much time. But there's like a couple pitches of that, and then there's more kind of making your way through talus and like larger boulders for like 10 minutes to the top. And then I basically didn't spend any time at the top. I just sent a quick text to my wife Adelaide to let her know that I was alive, and then sprinted down as fast as I could without falling.
So I saw your bike. You took your tri bike. You had your shoes strapped to the aero bars.
Yeah, my running shoes are strapped to the aero bars with. In fact, there's my bungee cord right there.
Yeah.
But I cut an old tube, tied my shoes together, my running shoes together, and stuffed a small lock and a windbreaker, and I think I had a pair of gloves. I think I maybe even stuffed a buff in there into my running shoes, strapped it all together, tied it, and then I used a regular bungee cord to strap that to my aero bars in the front.
Did you take some food?
Oh yeah, I took like 3,000 calories.
3,000? Did you?
I don't know. Let's see. I had 3 bottles of Martine. No, 4 bottles of Martine, which is 120 calories each.
What's Martine?
I don't know. Oh, you don't know?
I don't know Martine.
Here's
a plug. Let's put a plug in for Martine.
Martine is a sponsor of Adelaide's of mine, and they were like a tiny part of their athletes that they sponsor. They basically sponsor all the best like marathoners and stuff. But it's a type of carbohydrate that turns to like a gel sort of. I think it's called like not a gel that you can like see, but I'm doing a horrible job explaining this.
That's all right.
Let me think. It's a hydro sugar gel, something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. It has a very mild but sweet taste, and basically the formula is that it helps you absorb the calories as fast as possible. Like you can absorb those calories faster than like just straight sugar or something. So
Gotcha.
It gets to you immediately, which is why I like it. And it also has a really mild but sweet taste, so it's not like some sport drinks that taste like shit. And I'm not really sure if I'm allowed to swear on this, but
that's all right.
That's number 1.
Do you have like a hand bottle that you use?
Yeah, I took a hand bottle, like a squishy hand bottle, and I stuck it in the back of so I wore a skin suit for this.
Oh.
And so I look pretty dorky up there. But I stuck that in the back of my neck, and basically in the back, under the aero skin suit for the ride, and then had it in my hand for the run, and then I would stick it in the zipper.
I bet you did look a bit conspicuous out there. What were some of the hikers like that you encountered?
Well, 2 climbers right at the base were like FKT or die, so it was like obvious that I was
they knew
there
what was going
to
on.
run. I don't know if they thought it was just, who knows, maybe they're joking, I don't know. But, and I had a bright orange windbreaker wrapped around, because the first time I tried to do Long's Peak, I got really cold on the cable section. Like my hands were just frozen up, because I basically got to the ice section. I just spent forever trying to figure out a way to go around, and it was super windy. It was also extremely windy the day I did the FKT. It was like, I don't have a way to measure the wind gust, but it was to the point where I really had to lean forward. So 60 miles an hour, I don't know. It was super strong. Like,
scary strong?
No, not scary strong. Although those 2 climbers did say, be careful of the wind, which I didn't really know what that meant. Like, was it going to blow me off the cliff or something? And I have a fair amount of climbing experience from kind of growing up doing it, and I've never heard of that, like someone getting blown off the when I'm blown off the face of a.
I know one time I went to the keyhole and they were saying don't go through the keyhole because the wind was so strong.
Huh.
On that side, I guess there's a cliff ledge that you kind of have to
Yeah,
skate across.
you have to go through the little notch there, well, the keyhole. But
Yeah, so I'm like, okay.
it was. I only saw like maybe 6 people that day. It was a weekday. It was really windy. It wasn't great conditions for hikers, and I spent a lot of time off trail. So I saw I saw like 2 people on the trail, and then a couple climbers that were off trail.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what talk about like this COVID year? I'm a little bit tired of talking about COVID year, but
Yeah.
I mean, is this a motivational thing or just some for fun? Or are you just trying to keep in shape and come up with new things? Or
It's basically just to get a tiny bit of competition, because I like that just normally in my life, and this year's been lacking that, obviously. And originally back in like April, late March, when it looked like the whole racing season was going to be canceled, which it was, I kind of came up with this idea of something to train for, and I quickly stopped training for it.
was this what you came up with, or do you have another?
No,
idea?
this was, well, I had three things. One was I wanted to beat my high school's 3K time,
Okay.
fastest time for my high school, which is really way too fast. I can't do it. It's like, I think it's 8. No, it's 7:56. It's sub 8.
Okay.
So
That's
it's way too fast. I don't know why I thought. Wait, yeah, it's sub 8, I think. Which is a sea level, but still, I wouldn't be able to do that. I trained for running for a bit, and then I was basically just riding for a little while, like nothing very seriously, and then I stopped training pretty much altogether for maybe 6 or 8 weeks to focus on a writing project of mine, and then all of a sudden I like realized I only have like 2 weeks to do this duathlon if I'm going to do it, because the snow's coming. And so it was kind of it wasn't off the couch completely, but it was sort of off the couch because I had been training for like 6 hours a day or 6 hours a week for the month before it. But riding, I don't need a ton of fitness to get back. I don't need a ton of time to get back to it. And trail running has been a lot of fun. Actually, since I did the FKT, Adelaide and I have been doing a lot more trail running and like getting up high. We did High Lonesome, which is a really cool route, a couple days ago.
That's
and then
awesome.
Today I did the Mount Audubon duathlon. Set the FKT for that.
What do you love about trail running? Because I really enjoy it. I don't watch my pace much because it's just you can't really pace much, and you just
Yeah.
Is that what do you like about it?
I guess I just usually when I'm training I daydream about races and like just far off kind of dreams that are probably completely unattainable, but it's a really good like daydreaming time for me. And trail running is really easy to do that because you're not worried about cars. Like the pace doesn't really matter because you're going like 20-minute pace, so it's at least I am. So yeah, you can be tired but still feeling like you might be going fast.
Yeah. You have to watch where you're going too, so it sort of you
yeah,
have to pay
if
attention.
you're going fast, especially downhill, you get into kind of like a flow state. And definitely talus running, like running over boulders and stuff, you really get into a flow state because you have to be 100% concentrated, otherwise you fall, break your knee or something.
Yeah. How tough has this year been, or has it been tough, or what have you learned about maybe yourself that surprises you or doesn't surprise you?
I was surprised how content I was, at least for the summer, without having training being a priority. Well, I guess this whole year it hasn't been a priority, but especially in the couple months that I was doing a lot of writing, I was training so little that I thought I would never be able to like kind of manage that without losing my mind. And at the end of it, I definitely was losing my mind, but I don't know. I guess what has it taught me? People suck. Trump's approval rating is still 40% somehow. I don't. People suck. Yeah, I guess that's what I've learned. They really suck. Or Americans in general. I don't know. No, but on a more positive note, I guess I've learned that, you know, training is definitely training or racing or having some sort of competition in my life definitely is important, but it doesn't need to be the only thing, at least for periods of time. Like maybe I would be content, you know, doing other projects for a big chunk of the year, but then like refocusing on training or racing or something if I have an event to shoot for.
Well, you had a good year last year, at least the first part of the year.
Yeah, the first part.
First part, I know.
Before I broke my neck.
Yeah, then you had a rough time, and then you won Ironman Boulder. Or you had a great,
No, I was second.
Second, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Matt Hansen won.
That's right, Matt won. You got.
I always forget that too. I'm like, yeah, I won Ironman Boulder. Oh, I know I didn't.
Yeah, you seem like you
It's
did.
like 5 minutes back.
Yeah, right.
Or more.
And, but you had a great, you had some great things happening. I would assume you
Yeah.
might have been pretty excited about this year. Was it frustrating at the first month? Were you pretty upset about it in terms of?
I was less upset than I thought I would be. Like if someone told me, you know, while I was recovering from the broken neck, and there was like 2 months there where I wasn't allowed to do anything. Like I was just walking. I mean, I guess I ran a few times. I wasn't supposed to. But I like didn't go in a car in case if I just got in a small wreck or something. If someone rear-ended me, just the small motion that normally wouldn't hurt someone could re-break my neck. So I was in the collar, I was in the neck brace for I think 3 months. 2 of those months I wore it all the time because I didn't get surgery. So there's a high risk of refracturing the bone, the C7. During those months I was definitely looking forward to getting back to training, and racing was pretty much all I dreamed about while I was sitting on the couch or going on walks. So yeah, if someone had told me that, by the way, 2020, no racing is going to happen for you, I probably would have been pretty upset. But I think things happened slowly enough. Like I was actually down in training camp in Tucson when COVID started to like get really serious. Although I thought it was going to be bad back in January. Had been doing a bunch of reading on it, and I was trying to convince my parents not to go on this trip, which they ended up canceling it. But it seemed to me that it was going to be extremely bad, and it wasn't being taken seriously. And then I thought maybe I'm just overreacting, and then like March 11th or something rolls around, and like the whole NBA calendar is postponed, and everything seemed to get canceled. I think it was March 11th. I don't know if that
Somewhere
was the
around
date.
that, yeah.
But yeah, at that point, I still thought maybe at the end of the year, like now, like October, November, there'd be races. And PTO has been putting on some, but it's just not really enough for me to like want to get back in the pool and start training and stuff. I still have this writing project I'm doing, so I need to finish that up, and I have regular work and stuff I can focus on.
You're a good writer. What are you writing about?
Science fiction. I wrote 2.
You wrote science fiction.
Yeah.
Really?
2 climate science fiction books, cli-fi or like dystopian.
Huh.
Yeah, I have a mostly finished manuscript for the first one. The second book, there's 2-part. That's actually gonna be like a 4 or 5 part. If it goes anywhere. But yeah, I'm starting to finish up editing the first book. I've gone through like 4 times now, or 3 times I think, editing it. So hopefully that'll be done maybe the next couple weeks.
The next Robert Heinlein or something, huh?
I don't know my science fiction authors.
Who is? Do you read a lot of science fiction?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
Well, I mean, I guess the science fiction that I read before I started, because I basically stopped reading once I started writing back in July, I guess it was like late June. I wasn't able to really write and read at the same time, like read another author's work, just because I was writing like 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day at times. And but before that, I read the Red Rising series, which is I don't know if
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's really good. That's kind of like a space odyssey type, not space odyssey, but like space science fiction. And then I basically just read a lot of Stephen King.
Yeah.
It's not really science fiction, but...
What's your favorite one? Or one of your favorite Stephen King's?
My single favorite book would be The Stand.
Yeah.
Which part of it takes place here in Boulder. If you haven't read that one, it's a great one to start out on. Although it's super long. It's almost 500,000 words long. It's like his longest book.
That's one of my favorites.
But the Dark Tower series was definitely the best of... I mean, I guess you can classify that as one book, but I think it's 7. And that took me like a year to read all those in between other stuff. But I'm a very slow reader.
It's pretty amazing to me, Stephen King, how he cranks them out, right?
Yeah, it's insane. I thought I did write the 2 books that I haven't finished yet very quickly. I wrote them, I had like 170,000 words total in like 6 weeks, I think, maybe 7 weeks. And that included like a round of editing also. And I was like, man, I'm going to pump out books like crazy, like over this next, year if racing doesn't happen again for 2021. But I sort of lost interest as I had to refocus on work because Adelaide was helping me do a lot of my normal work while I was writing, or in fact she did all of it for me. I do legal blog writing on the side. But and then I got interested in the duathlon stuff, and like it's hard for me to focus on 2 things at once. Like I'm sort of all in with training, or I'm all in with writing, for example. So this year's been difficult because I've had to kind of split things a bit more, and now that these duathlon projects are done, I need to get back to the editing stage.
Well, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago when you were not a pro triathlete. You were a pro cyclist for a while, right? And
very low level pro.
A low level pro, and then you decided to become a pro triathlete.
Low level pro triathlete too.
But you've had some success.
Yeah.
And I still remember being at that gala, and you were asking me about some ideas on Ironman, and then it wasn't too long after that you go out and win or whatever. Second, I know. Yeah. We'll say you won.
Sure. Yeah.
No problem, Matt. But what do you think about being a pro triathlete? What's the PTO's been trying to sort of
PTO. I mean, man, I wish
kind of balance or bring
hopefully
it.
Ironman stock just plummets this year, and PTO can buy it. I mean, I know Ironman was just bought and sold like 2 times in the last few years, 3 times maybe. But PTO I think is kind of the only way that it's ever going to become a sport where you can make a living at if you're not kind of like in the top 15 or 20 pros in the world. I mean, I know there's pros in the top 20 that are still probably not making a great living. It's so concentrated in the top 1%, which is like how it is with everything, I guess, capitalism. But I make very, very little money doing triathlon, and I don't really market myself very well. I've tried in the past. It's pretty bad at it, and I don't really have the consistent, really good results. I've never won a pro race, so for me, it's not a way to make a living.
I find it interesting that pro cyclists at a certain level get some salary from their teams and whatnot, and a pro triathlete, it's either wins or sponsor. But there's not really any other way to make money, right? Unless PTO now is
unless you're an influencer. I mean, you can be an influencer and have no results at all and be making money, I guess. But
but through sponsorship and through product.
Yeah.
But not like a salary.
Well, I mean, basically there's only 2 teams, BMC and Bahrain. Is that the name of the team?
Bahrain is one, I think. But
is it gone?
No,
it's around. Never mind.
Yeah.
I think Bahrain gets a salary. I don't know. But I mean, it'd be cool if more teams popped up that paid and kind of lumped in sponsors and but we've only really seen that with age group.
Right.
Basically where it's kind of a moneymaker for the person who starts the team.
Like an Everyman Jack or Timex or Sunto. Or
whatever. I try to get on Timex. No. What's that other one?
I don't know. Sunto, which kind of
I tried to get on. It was either Timex or it was some other team. They didn't think I had good enough results.
Oh, well, they're lost.
Yeah, it wasn't Timex. It was. I want to remember the name so I can talk some shit about this team. But anyways, whatever it was, they like it had like this is before I got sponsored by A Squared. So I'm glad I ended up going that route because I do get a little bit of. I do get bonuses from my bike sponsor, A Squared or A2 bikes. Anyways, this team, I was like, no, we really only want people who can finish like on the podium consistently. And I think like a month later, I got on the podium, and their person who they had at this race finished like 5th or 6th. I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna ask. I don't know. I was kind of pissed off, I guess, that they wouldn't, because it was just like like I got a bike. I don't know. It's not much to ask, but I mean, maybe it is a lot to ask because the bike industry is not doing great. I mean, I know COVID has really helped things for entry level bikes.
Bike shops are doing well.
Some bike shops are doing well. Yeah. I don't think that necessarily the bike shops that do really high end stuff. Well, I mean, I know that Colorado Multisport is hurting. So if you have any bike stuff you need to buy, go there because they don't really sell. They don't sell commuters and
right. $800 bikes. Right?
Yeah, they don't sell college entry level bikes like bikes that kids need for commuting. So they've been hurting, but in general, I guess bike shops are doing pretty decent.
Yeah. Is that hard? But do you enjoy being a pro triathlete overall?
Yeah. I mean, I just like to be competing at a high level. I don't necessarily enjoy doing Instagram. I enjoy writing blogs, like race reports and stuff like that. I've always liked doing that just because I like writing. But that's more of like a creative thing that I enjoy rather than like getting my name out there for
A Squared bikes all the time or whatever.
Well,
I know you do though because I see it's in the picture.
That's the old one.
Where are they from?
Oregon, which is where I'm from too.
Yeah.
AJ, the owner, was at California. Was at Oceanside back in 2017, I think. I think it was 2017, and he had a stand. Or he had like a tent up and had all these A Squared bikes, and no one had been on one yet. Like I think he had like 5 bikes in the U.S. because he just started the company like a couple months before, and Adelaide convinced me to go talk to him. I was like, had just finished the race and I was trying to eat a burrito or something, and she was like, go talk to this guy, he's from Oregon. And so I went over and talked to him, and I like picked up the bike. I was like, geez, that's pretty light for a tri bike. Which as a bike racer, I still like how light bikes are. I know it doesn't matter as much for triathlon, but I just hate the idea of being on like a
22 pound.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like what's that monstrosity bike that Michael Weiss rides?
Ooh, I'm not sure. There's that Cervelo that has all.
I hate the look of that bike.
Yeah, and there's this
Ventum. Not the new one, but the one from like 2019.
Right. There's a Ventum that's got the.
I don't mind the Ventum. I kind of like the Ventum. Whatever, it's Diamondback.
Oh, Diamondback.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the bike, but it is hideous. I would never ride that. It's unless they pay me a lot of money, but of course they're not going to now. It looks like it's the slowest bike in the world. I mean, it probably weighs 25 pounds.
Yeah.
Be good for a downhill course. A straight down where you don't have to turn.
Right. Get a little wind sail behind you. Huh. So how do you compare cycling and triathlon in terms of like a pro and the sort of the camaraderie and the vibe and how would you compare those two?
Well, there's no camaraderie in triathlon.
Look.
I don't know. Maybe if you're on a team, there is.
But I mean among other pros.
Yeah, I was just.
Like Sam, when you and Sam Long are probably always seeing each other around town doing crazy stuff, right?
I see Sam surprisingly little. We don't really train together. He's a bit too fast for me, I think. No, I'm just. Well, maybe actually this year definitely is. But I train mostly with Chris Leiferman and Justin Dare, and those are pretty much the only two guys I train with, other than Adelaide. I mean, I go on easy stuff with her, or I do like this year we've done some mountain biking, and I also, prior to COVID, I trained with a running team, Run Boulder AC. Yeah, that's the name. Jesus, I'm horrible with names. Run Boulder AC? That doesn't sound right. Kathy Butler's group, I don't know. And they have they're just pretty much pure runners, and they have some really fast runners, and like people much faster than me. And I enjoyed running with them twice a week or so during non-COVID times. And then masters, swimming, that pretty much takes care of it. Like, if I get, one ride or run with, Justin or Chris a week, then I'm pretty satisfied. But with bike racing, there's way more camaraderie because you're on a team and you're traveling together. And at a stage race, it's like being on a regular team.
But how about amongst the other teams and other riders that aren't on your team? Is it, because in amateur cycling it feels sometimes a little bit catty. Is it that way in the pros?
I don't know how it is in like real pro, like pro world tour stuff. But in the domestic pro scene, like the NRC or whatever they're calling it now, national, I don't know what they're calling it now, but like the Redlands and Gila stuff, I don't think it feels catty.
Yeah.
In fact, I always really enjoyed going to races and seeing a bunch of people that I basically only see at races, which is similar to triathlon, but you see those people way more often because, you might see them every day for 5 or 6 days if it's a stage race. And then with bike racing, obviously you race way more than triathlon, so you might see, some friends or ex-teammates or something at a race in Arkansas, and like 2 weeks later you see them all again in New Mexico for Gila, and then like a month later you see them again in wherever, I don't know, Nature Valley, Minneapolis. But it doesn't feel catty. At least I don't remember it to be that way. There's definitely riders that you don't get along with, and they're generally sprinters, like chopping corners and stuff and causing crashes. But I think people pretty much got along with each other. I mean, there's definitely, you yell at people if they're not pulling a breakaway or something. In Belgium, I got punched, but that's a completely different scene. Like it's fairly aggressive, and I stole someone's water bottle out of a feed zone.
On purpose?
Yeah. I was thirsty. It gets surprisingly hot in Belgium in the summer because I don't know, I guess it probably wasn't that hot, but I rode to the race. I couldn't find anywhere to like fill up my bottle before the start because the first couple times I went to Belgium to race kermesses and stuff, I would inevitably get lost and like barely make it to the race on time.
Yeah.
So I'd ride there. And I didn't know anybody. I barely spoke any Flemish. I knew like 4 swear words and like a few words like pull or take like left or right or something, or words that you would use in a bike race. But so I showed up to this race. I think it was the first race that I did for this year, like 2011, I think, and maybe it was 2010. But I went through a feed zone like midway into the race, and I was out of water, and I just like I tried to grab this bottle in the feed zone that was this other kid's parent probably, and not that I was a kid, I was like 24 or 22 or something, but I dropped it, and so I didn't get it, so I ruined his water chance. I didn't get it myself, and then he came up to me and just started like swearing at me in Flemish and like pounding on my head, like the top of my helmet. And then I grabbed, and this is the middle of Peloton, and I grabbed his helmet or his strap or something, and I was like tugging on it, and we were like, for a second we were like about to make each other crash.
This is in the middle of Peloton.
Intentionally, like I don't know, he was like the one that started, in my opinion. Because I still didn't quite know the rules of the feeds. I mean, I did, but I don't know. He's the one that started using physical force first. So. But we as quick as it started, we both like realized like this is not worth it,
Right.
and got our hands back on bars and finished the race. And
That's
never
funny.
saw him again. But
Oh. Have you ever been tempted to do ITU since you have that background?
no, I'm a horrible swimmer.
Oh, yeah, and that's always key.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, I think we saw it with Cam Werf, and he's a really good swimmer and a much better cyclist and runner than I am, and he got annihilated.
Why is that? What is it that...
The swim. I mean,
that's all it is?
He's a good swimmer, but not even close to ITU caliber, I guess. So if you're even a minute down and you're not working with people in Peloton, you can be riding at 420 watts and never catch up, especially in a short race, like a 40K ITU race. Like, there's no chance. Because they're all working together. It's not like a bike race where it starts out maybe slow or settles down after a little while. It would be cool to do it, but yeah, it doesn't suit me at all.
So what's anything left this year in terms of a physical challenge that you're gunning for?
No. We're heading to Tucson hopefully in November, and I'm gonna start training finally as if there is gonna be a race season in 2021, and hopefully by the spring, I don't know, hopefully early spring we'll know if Ironman is actually gonna happen.
Right. Yeah, it seems.
Or PTO is going to continue putting on, if PTO put on these races or help put on these races, you know, one or two per month in each continent, that could be enough for me to want to continue training and race for those.
That one in Daytona looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm not invited to that.
Oh, you're not invited?
No, I'm not in the top 40.
Oh, you have to be, okay.
Well, I broke my neck and I didn't score any points for a long time. And well, they shut down the point scoring system in the spring, I think, because there weren't any races.
So you got to be top 40 to do that.
Yeah, top 40 men, top 40 women go, and then I think there are 4 or 5 or 6 wild card entries per gender, and I really don't think there's no reason they would take me. Like, I'm not a big name.
Would you go if they did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once I saw the prize list, like, if they paid out to last place, I would totally go. Because that's probably where I would come in. I'd be like a 50-minute swim.
What are they
$15
paying?
$1 million.
It is $1 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, $500,000 per field.
That's big.
Which is crazy. That's huge. It's so much more than Kona.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
That is
awesome.
the future,
That's how it
though.
should
That's
be.
what it's got to be.
Yeah.
It's got to be that.
To make a living, yeah. I mean, plus PTO's bonus structure, that also would really help too.
They just got to get the TV to back that up.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, that's their goal.
Right.
Is to
Yeah.
find a way to make it viewable, which you could easily do. I mean, there's enough people that are interested, but you just need to have some, more metrics like real-time GPS on each person, so you get an idea where everyone is. Power, obviously,
Heart
people
rate.
care about power, heart rate, more than with like 2 motorcycles
Right.
or cameras per field.
Yeah. Daytona could be good because it's inside the track.
Yeah, that one, I could see them doing a really good job televising that, and it would be super interesting to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll definitely watch it from here
Yeah. Well, good.
if I'm not there.
So no more duathlons, no, maybe just running up some more mountains, whatever.
Yeah, I'll do more trail runs and finish the books and do some rides.
Nice.
Just kind of maybe just bide my time until real training starts in November, December,
Well,
January, maybe February. I don't know.
We'll never know. It's COVID year. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for spending time with us.
Yeah, thanks for
It
having
was
me.
good to chat and catch up. And I didn't know you were a science fiction writer. That's really fun.
Well, I'm not yet. I mean,
Oh, you're working
yeah.
on it. It's quite a contrast.
Once it's finished, then I think I can say I'm a science fiction writer. But
That's exciting. That's
Yeah.
cool. Good for you. Thanks a lot.
yeah, thanks for the time, Bill.